was like, oh my God, it's Beyonce.
It's
Oh
like,
my God,
no,
it's Lady Gaga.
Hello gay people, it's me, Jamie.
And hello, it's me, Bruce.
So here's the thing.
We planned this video before the Harley Valentine's Day special was announced.
But we watched it together and thought it was extraordinary.
Exactly, so enjoy the rest of the review.
Hello and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Queer Peer Reviews. We review queer media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Jamie, and today with me is my co-host, Bruce.
Here at Queer Peer Reviews, we review all sorts of media from comic books to movies and TVs involving LGBTQ.
Yeah, and today's episode, our Valentine's Day special, we're going to be reviewing the 2019 animated series, Harley Quinn, as you could not tell by our decorations.
One of the best shows on HBO MAX and the only good animated show.
You've actually introduced it to me, and it became immediately my new comfort show. I am in love with it.
It is. It's a good show.
I cannot see because everything is red,
Everything's red.
and now everything is blue. God.
I wear glasses, so I can't see. It's just gonna. Okay, cool.
No, you're keeping that on.
Fine.
It's Valentine's Day.
And season 1 of Harley Quinn, we don't really get much into her relationship with Ivy, although more of a friendship-wise. This is just more of Harley Quinn being more independent and free from her abusive ex, Joker. It's become more like a very rivalry type of ordeal going on throughout the day, with Batman showing up once in a while.
Yeah, and in season 1, you can tell like there's a really good chemistry between Harley and Ivy. Like they're just super close. They're always there for each other.
It's one of the biggest staples in all of DC, from the comics to the from even in the the old Batman animated shows. They've had this best friend relationship going on, and it grows a lot more in this animated show.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, like Bruce said, season 1, we don't really dive into the relationship. It's more of the friendship and just everything that revolves around the team that Harley forms after she splits with Joker. We get like one of the best written characters. We got Clayface, King Shark.
King Shark. I love King Shark. Dr. Psycho. Controversial figure, Dr. Psycho. Who gets he gets blacklisted from the Legion of Doom because he said this
C-word and T-word.
We're villains, but we have standards.
I love the comedy that it immediately introduces you to in this show.
Oh yeah, no, it's almost like it's written way better than another show that we're gonna eviscerate later. So when her team forms, she eventually pulls off this great heist and then gets invited to the Legion of Doom, where there's the rivalry between her and Joker get more intense to the point near the end of season 1. Joker tries to pull back Harley into her thing. It's like a whole manipulation tactic. It's what he is. But at the end of season 1, it ends with Harley pushing Joker back into the vat of acid and crumbling down his entire, made this whole Joker tower, put that in the shot. And whole thing crumbles down. Batman kind of goes missing. And then at the end, we see Joker coming out, but he goes back to...
he's still alive.
But he comes back to normal from the back. It almost reverses.
During season 2, that is when we start to see some sort of feelings start to form between Harley and Ivy. At the time, Ivy is currently engaged to this other guy named Kite Man.
Now, mind you, this is Gotham City currently in hellscape, where each villain taking its district. We got Mr. Freeze, Bane, Riddler, Penguin. So, it's kind of like a background type of thing going on.
Yeah.
And Harley wants to take over Gotham, and that's her main goal, while Ivy's main goal, I guess, is setting up a wedding with Kite Man.
While still going along with Harley's plan. So yeah, season 2, it's Harley taking down each of these factions, I guess you can call them, of each villain.
I mean, one of the shocking things is that she killed Penguin.
Yeah.
That's one of the crazy part is because you usually think these villains don't die, but Harley Quinn fucking killed Penguin, and then not to mention before back in season 1, Scarecrow died, and then here even Mr. Freeze, although that was more sad.
The Mr. Freeze episode was really sad, but really funny in the beginning. My favorite part of that episode is when Mr. Freeze comes out of the fog
and light,
and Clayface, I think it was Clayface, no. King Shark was like, oh my God, it's Beyonce. Oh my God, it's Lady Gaga.
It's like I said, throughout it's funny, throughout the midst of chaos, we start seeing the relationship between Poison Ivy starting growing. it's almost like Harley is hesitant to help with the Kite Man, Harley.
Yeah,
Or,
because her
Kite Man.
feelings are starting to be more apparent.
Whole moral. Right?
Yeah, and then it isn't until the episode where they both get put in Bane's prison.
Yeah, Bane's. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Bane's also best character too there.
We love Bane.
And yeah, so they get taken into Bane's like the whole like from Dark Knight Rises, and yeah, so he gets taken into the hole, and it's funny because it's a rehabilitation center. You think it's a prison, but he's like trying to.
Yeah, but yeah, towards the end, they are about to escape the prison. Bane kind of holds on to Harley while Ivy is like has like one of her plants like taking them out. So Harley is like, we're not gonna be able to get out of this, and she lets go of Ivy, basically sacrificing herself.
But then this is Harley Quinn's show, so Poison
course,
Ivy
yes.
jumps back in the hole and reaches up and picks her up mid-fall. And then you wanna?
Yeah, no. So they fly out of the prison. They land.
And in the midst of excitement and like.
Yeah, Harley is in Ivy's arms, and they share a very, very passionate kiss in the end of that episode.
But then they give each other a look like.
Oh shit.
Oh. Because if we haven't mentioned it before, engaged with Kite Man and Poison Ivy, so.
There's a little issue right
Little
there.
issues there.
When they kissed, I was like, finally.
You probably cheered, right?
This is what we've been waiting for. Not much longer after that first kiss, we dive into the bachelorette party episode for Ivy, which
And-
Harley helps plan.
And not to mention, Harley's also having a very big gay panic.
She's like, no, I kiss everybody. I kiss all my friends. Yeah, it's,
Accuses
it's normal.
Batgirl. Her coping mechanisms are very dangerous and
Harley is very
world-ending.
chaotic.
So yeah, actually, before the Bachelorette, she goes to Darkseid as a coping mechanism. Like, no, I got this. And then, funny enough, Darkseid mentions like, controlling the parademons is not a way to. It cannot fill anyone's heart. Like even Darkseid is telling her like, yo, this is not a good coping mechanism. But Harley doesn't listen. And then brings Gotham City to hell with parademons. So, like I said, her coping mechanisms are very dangerous.
Yeah.
And
So once that conflict is resolved, that's when we go to the
Bachelorette party. Still, while Gotham is in hell. But yeah, they did a Bachelorette party to Themyscira, Wonder Woman's basically place of birth.
Yeah, it's just they're there to celebrate the love between Kite Man and Ivy, but during all that, Harley and Ivy wind up sleeping together
After
multiple times.
getting drunk. How many times? 3
times.
times. And all of them because they keep drinking and they just keep waking up. It's funny because like Ivy just keeps cursing like, oh
shit, fuck.
Fuck, beat that out.
But yeah, and after each time they did it, they keep saying, we're not gonna do that again, right? No, that was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And then later that night, boom, again, let's go.
But then it sort of ends in a little tragic, because Ivy just like wants to like, I guess keep moving forward for Kite Man and then breaks Harley.
Ivy basically tells Harley like, I love you, but I don't trust you with my heart. And then that's when Kite Man swoops in and ruins it all.
Yeah, I remember watching this in my car, I'm like, damn it!
Damn it, that hurt me. That hurt me a lot.
So after that emotionally breaking moment and then the episode, eventually the parademons, Harley Quinn lost interest in controlling the parademons, and so Dr. Psycho decides to take over. Leads to even more chaos. But even then, like I said, Harley Quinn is more distracted with the fact that...
Her heart is broken.
Exactly. So she goes out to go, I guess, drinking, where she meets Joker, who is humanized. Basically, yeah.
They saw him a little earlier, kind of
Yeah, they saw him earlier, but...
This confirmed.
Yeah, but they moved on because they're like, all right, he's not doing
Not
anything.
important.
Another thing we should have mentioned in season 1, there was also the Queen of Fables who trapped all the Justice League in the book. And so because Dr. Psycho has the parademons in control, there's no superheroes to stop them. And so Harley Quinn has to go on a quest to also basically fix her mess and get the Book of Fables.
But who has the Book of Fables? None
Joker,
other than
but
Joker.
he's human, so human version forgot everything the Joker did.
It's funny though, because you could see there's like little hints of Joker still
Little
there,
hints,
but
yeah,
not
but-
really.
But that vat acid really worked its magic. So she basically tries to break into Ace Chemicals to put him back in the back of acid. Little funny moments ensued. One of my favorite is the cancer ray gun scene, which was fucked up, but it was so...
She goes, I was like, what?
What is it? Harley Quinn, you gave me cancer, and they basically has to like go and like.
Carl, I'm so sorry.
That's it.
She gave you cancer.
That's it. I'm going to. Harley Quinn then finally successfully pushes him in the vat of acid, and almost feels regretful doing it, but she has to do it. She has to do what she had to do.
Yeah. And Joker is back, and they get the book. They free the Justice League, and Justice League basically.
Yeah, they
kind of, sorta.
Stop the parademons. But unfortunately, during the midst of that, Dr. Psycho also takes control of Poison Ivy.
Dun dun dun.
And then this the last climactic battle is Harley and Ivy just fighting to the end.
They are losing this battle against Dr. Psycho and Ivy.
Harley breaks the mind control by kissing Ivy, although that didn't really break the control. It's just Dr. Psycho got distracted
He's
from
like,
the kiss.
whoa, what was that? And he just loses control of what he was just doing.
Yep.
So yeah, before Dr. Psycho is officially like defeated, he releases this whole projection kind of
From his mind, showing
that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy have been, for lack of a better word, doing the deed.
all their moments from Themyscira.
Yes, so everyone now knows that Harley and Ivy have been together and basically cheating on Kite Man. So Kite Man, still in love with Ivy, of course, they just uninvite Harley to the wedding. Which now brings us to the wedding episode.
So yeah, for Gordon to bring back his reputation, because Two-Face was leading him on to be mayor, he wants to arrest all the villains at once in the wedding, because like I said, they're all been invited at once. And that's why also Harley is crashing, not just to, just crash, but also to help and save Ivy's wedding. And
she's still her best friend.
Exactly.
No matter what.
Gordon launches his ambush and throws like sleeping gas and knocks everyone out. Becomes very dramatic. I think also in the midst of that, Clayface is trying to sing to impress Tim Burton that's in there.
Yes, and I love that so much because while everybody is like fighting towards the end of the episode, Clayface is still serenading everybody.
Yeah, no, this is funny. And then he says it, and then everybody knocks out. Then Harley Quinn saves the day, basically breaks open the roof because science, and basically gets everybody woken up, and it just becomes like this big battle between Gotham PD and like all the villains.
Yeah.
All this chaos, and then Ivy's like, let's just finish the wedding, but Kite Man decides, hell no.
Yep,
because he knows the vibe. He knows that it's not gonna work out.
And Kite Man like proposed to Ivy like 3 times, I believe, and each time he had to keep like basically begged her to marry him each time.
And then he realizes, like, I know this is not gonna work out, and I clearly have more feelings for Harley than me, and just calls off the wedding. And then, and he just pieces out his kite and just, and so leaves only Harley and Ivy, in which they steal a car. Also, fun fact, that car they're in? That was
the wedding car.
Did you know the fun fact about that? That was the first car they drove in the first episode together.
Oh.
In the Batman Animated Series in the 90s.
Oh, wow, really?
Yep, that's the same car.
Fun fact.
So it was, very meaningful. And they're just doing basically in this car chase with Commissioner and all the police. And then they ride off onto the road, share the kiss, with Clayface bringing out his. It was the best scene. I think I rewatched that ending because it was just so beautifully crafted.
I also did too. But it's so beautiful because at the end, like they bust out of this like thing. They're in midair. They kiss in the car together, and they drive off with the thing on the car still saying like "just married," which I thought was really cute, even though they're not married.
The message in that ending was be gay and do crimes.
Be gay, do crimes.
That really is the message of this show, huh?
So this brings us to the most recent season of Harley Quinn, season 3, which starts with the Eat, Bang, Kill tour, which is
it's just them going around and fucking around,
eating, having sex,
stealing Commissioner Gordon's credit card information.
Harley is super, super in love with Ivy. She just does everything for her. She winds up stealing a bunch of things, including the Queen of England. There's a bunch of gold. There's like thrones in this invisible jet that they're flying around the world in. It's cute. Start of the relationship.
And so, for one thing, to make Ivy like happy, because also this is at after season 2, she still feels bummed a bit kind of from before, but
and the trauma of a toxic relationship.
Maybe we should start up the Eden Project. And so takes her to this little, I guess like an island or a patch of land where she was trying to work on bringing prehistoric plants back to
Yeah,
life.
at first, Ivy isn't so happy that Harley brought her there because it reminds her of like her failure of trying to start this Eden Project, which is basically Ivy wanted to terraform the entire world to make it like plants and like thriving plants and all that stuff.
And so because Harley's very protective of Poison Ivy, she kidnaps Waller, Amanda Waller, the leader of, basically the director of the Suicide Squad. And this leads to Waller sending one of her own, agents, which leads to the destruction of Poison Ivy's Eden Project,
Which,
unfortunately.
Yeah, again, makes her super sad because the thing she already failed at creating has now been destroyed once again. But that doesn't stop her because I believe they go back to Catwoman's place.
They're crashing at Catwoman's place now since their other apartment from last season 2 has been destroyed.
Yeah, so they start reviving the Eden Project once again. It leads to a lot of chaos. Ivy starts getting more progress with the Eden Project, and she starts using Frank.
Oh yeah, Ivy made basically made a compound or chemical and gave it to Frank, which then had the ability to revive.
Yeah, dead plants.
Unfortunately, a billionaire named after me,
Bruce Wayne, aka Batman.
Cannot go over the death of his parents, kidnaps Frank because he finds out Frank can revive plants. He tries to basically improve that, and so he can revive humans.
Yeah, so that's, I think, a few episodes focuses on the kidnapping of Frank, and that's kind of why Ivy wants to go into the green to try and find him, right?
Yeah,
but
because he's like, Ivy's best friend.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not that she's not strong enough, but she's just unable to make that full connection with the green to find Frank. But after they get into this whole debacle with Batman, they wind up back at Batman's house or his tower, and that's when they learn that it was him that kidnapped Frank.
Yep, that's where they find him, and then Frank basically is super stronger now. Bruce Wayne breaks up zombie plants.
Yeah, so while he brings Frank to go revive his parents, not only does it revive his parents, it revives every single dead person in that graveyard and turns them into these plant zombie corpses, which now I love.
Just like Harley, Batman has horrible coping mechanisms too.
Yeah, but I love the name of this thing that they wind up ruining. So now that there's a bunch of zombies running around, they're not so concerned about the zombies. They're more concerned that they're gonna ruin this jazz festival.
Jazzapalooza.
No, not Jazzapalooza. Jazzapajizza.
It was not that.
It was Jazzapajizza.
Really? And also, not to mention the fact that a little side plot going on. Joker is also running for mayor. And he introduces Jazzapazizza.
Jazzapajizza.
Yeah, he's there introducing. but because Ivy also sees the plant zombies as an opportunity, and therefore basically brings her out her peak powers.
Yeah, and she's finally able to reach the green now that she has all this power around her of all these revived plant corpse people now.
And her outfit is also a callback to her original outfit too, which is also dope. Also impresses Harley too. She's
yeah. She's like, wow, you look hot. But Harley goes to try to stop all of this from happening, but that's when Ivy kind of realizes, wait a second, this is exactly what I've been looking for. This is what I'm trying to do to terraform the world.
Yeah, and then brings up Harley's this whole status of being a villain or hero, where she's I know we want to take over, but this is a little too much.
Yeah, and that's when Ivy starts going about town. She starts terraforming all these buildings with the power that she now has.
So yeah, Harley gets puked on purpose, sacrificed, and then forces Ivy's hand to just undo the entire mess.
Yeah, because the only way to stop Harley from dying and turning into a plant zombie was to undo everything that had just happened. Harley is now on the fence, am I a hero or am I a villain?
Yeah.
And that kind of puts, at least Harley thinks it puts a strain on the relationship.
That's the scene where it's you know what, to prove it, I'm going to kill the Joker. And so they kidnap Joker. And then Joker talks to Ivy, and not even being manipulative at this point, just being straight up honest. Have you noticed that Harley is like being changed, and then points out, it's like, have you ever seen Harley forget her bat? And then like brings the question. And then Ivy being supportive, actually, it's just like, you don't have to do this to prove like a point. It's like we can.
Yeah, and like how they're like equals in a relationship. She doesn't have to compromise like being totally evil just to be with her.
Exactly. Very healthy, by the way. It's a very healthy conversation.
A lot healthier than the Joker-Harley relationship. Harley and Ivy, everything is fine at the end of season 3. They realize that they both don't have to want the same things.
But they still want to be together.
They still want to be together.
Yep. So it ends with Harley becoming this vigilante with Batgirl, and Ivy just doing her own thing as well.
Yeah.
So, very
We
healthy.
cannot wait for season 4, whenever that may be coming out.
Now it's coming soon. And also the showrunners promised that they will not be broken up, so we're gonna hold that shit against you.
All right, so let's get to the ratings here at Queer Peer Reviews. We review everything we review out of 5 different categories for a grand total of 100.
So our first category, we're gonna start with representation.
All right, so for representation, I give it a 9.9.
9.5.
Amazing.
I made it a little
Yeah, I
authentic.
mean, besides Harley and Ivy, there is a lot of representation.
Yeah,
in this
especially
show.
especially more in like season 3. We have another thing mentioned is also Riddler is basically dating Clock King.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a great change in pace. I love that.
And like a lot of the characters, like they're not afraid of like how they present themselves, like whether they're straight or gay. Like they say
just
things.
It's like the main focus is like, listen, we're heroes and villains. We just do our dastardly plans. We don't care.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of like fluidness from like a lot of characters. Like specifically,
Clayface.
Yeah, Clayface. Yeah, it's not really defined. in
But
the
I
show.
think he's gender fluid. Literally.
Literally, physically,
Because it's like his
figuratively.
alter persona, I believe, is Jennifer, and he committed to that role.
He was in a
Relationship with Brad.
Yeah, and also he turned into like Burt Reynolds for like a very long time. He was just shapeshifted into multiple people because he was an actor. So he committed to all of his roles, whether it was acting or not. It was very fluid, and I would not doubt that that is definitely some sort of queer representation there. But yeah, but on to Harley and Ivy, like they're
the main engine to this show.
The way they built that relationship, I think, was just amazing. With like both of them bisexual, and just how they had to deal with that. And it wasn't like I think I might like girls or something like that. It was just there.
Yeah, it was just there, written well. Relationship-wise was also healthy. Like they communicated properly with each other.
Yeah, and it was like you love who you love, and that was everybody's mindset. Nobody was like homophobic in this, as far as I know.
Maybe Dr. Psycho, but I don't think so. I don't know.
I think he was the type of person that kind of fetishized. He was like,
He would-
oh.
He would say.
Next, let's move on to our queer comfort scale.
And for queer comfort, we give it a
10.
10.
Yay! I mean, I feel like that doesn't need a lot of explanation. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, it is my comfort show. I binge watch the shit out of it.
It's also very rewatchable. Also, just to the moment you watch the first episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just able to relate to Harley and Ivy's, both of their characters. I feel like I am like a mix of both in a sense. Like Ivy, of course, I loved Ivy's character because plants. I love plants. If you didn't already know,
And a very
plants are my babies.
a chill attitude.
Yeah, and then like I related to Harley because like the whole when you are in a relationship, like how happy and excited you are to be like with somebody. Like I felt like that energy with Harley. I was like, wow, oh my God, I want to do everything for you.
I found it comforting, just like the writing. It was just funny as hell to watch. Especially watching like character developments. There were like good like character developments with a lot of them. Even Joker is surprised to get like, a development. But overall, it's just a fun show to watch. All the characters having their own little it's like parodies of themselves. Like Bane, he has the voice from like Dark Knight Rises and like classic. Look, it's just a fun mixture.
Good vibes all around. As a gay, it made me very comfortable.
As a fan of DC, it made me comfortable as well.
And for originality, I give it a 9.
9, oh really? Top 10. So, I give it originality because I've also read some of the Harley Quinn comics, and what I liked about this comics, it was all, like I said, it was all focused on her. And in the comics, she also had like this ragtag, groups of like other characters. And when the show was announced, I was super excited for it, and I wasn't sure it was gonna be like the comics, but surprisingly, it was similar to the comics. And I want to say original because it did change a lot of things. They made the characters a lot more different. And I said before, they're like, some of those are like parodies of themselves. They even like point out some of their usual flaws that everybody says like about them. Like Batman's like, oh, he has to cope with his parents, and they brought that up a lot.
Yeah.
And it's such a nice change of like a little pace when it comes to stories related around Batman or like the villains as well. And I don't know, so, it's just a show I really like. I like to see more shows like that.
Yeah, like, when Bruce said, like, he, like, reads all the comic stuff, I'm somebody who hasn't read the comics, and, like, I do watch some, like, DC films and stuff, so I did see a lot of characters I was familiar with, but I love how they were able to take characters that a lot of people know a lot of things about and just kind of have them as their own standalone characters without changing what we know about them a lot.
They're different, but at least you know their characters, unlike another thing. Anyways.
But yeah, I just love how they were able to take this and make it its own standalone show and give it its own personality that's completely separate from anything you've seen, like, with all these characters. And next, let's move on to the writing.
And on to writing, we give it a...
I give it a 9.5.
9.5. Yo, we're like, 3 for 3.
I love that. But yeah, like I said multiple times throughout this episode already, I was so invested in it. I just loved everything about it, and the writing was able to get me so into it so quickly, like with the comedy, just what everybody says.
Also a bit of like some messages about just real life.
There were, I would say maybe 1 or 2 filler episodes per season, but the way they wrote them, they didn't feel like filler episodes.
Yeah, no, it felt like it had to be connected. You never really get bored of any other episode. You just, it's just so much fun to watch each of them.
Yeah, and like even the episodes where Harley or Ivy weren't even like involved. Like there was an episode about Nightwing.
They made that writing joke about like fans, DC fans.
Yeah, and like the episode that was just about Joker, like I am here for Harley and Ivy, but I was able to still be like super into it and like not really miss the characters I was watching the show for. And last but not least, our overall feelings towards the show, I give it a 10.
9.8. Damn, we were that close. I was gonna give it a 10.
So I was debating between a 9.9
This
and
is
a 10.
just to make it look more diverse of scores, but yeah, that's either way, it's perfect scores for me.
Yeah.
So
very close to perfect scores.
very
both
close,
of
very
us
close.
the
But
whole time.
Yeah,
anyways. I mean, what more can I say? We've basically been praising it the whole time. I am very excited for
Season 4?
Yeah, what's to come. All right, so now it's time for our QPR total. AJ, hit us with that gay shit.
All right, so Harley Quinn comes in at a 96.2 out of 100, so 96.2, wait, hold on. So gay plus. So
there we go. Hey, it deserves it.
I am so shocked.
I'm
Just
shocked.
kidding. But yeah, like we said throughout this entire episode, amazing show. You should definitely watch it. Gay plus all around. Totally deserved. All right, guys, thank you again so much for watching another episode of Queer Peer Reviews. We got plenty more coming your way. In the description below, we have links to the Trevor Project, along with other LGBTQ+ links, along with our social media pages. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out for more.
We're like Harley Queer.
Yay!